chanter pour vous.
C'est pas pour dater.
Ma puis rêver de vous, mamie.
C'est pas pour dater.
Ma puis chanter pour vous. Yeah. Je dis à moi film grand, pourtant d'amour même genre. Bacaba ou l'argent, même gombel, sentiment qui éclaire ton diamant, mais pas qui t'aime forcément. Ou mettre quoi sincèrement, amour ça là longtemps. Wow, 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 yeah.
C'est pas pour dater.
Ma fille chanter pour vous.
C'est pas pour dater.
Ma fille rêver de vous.
C'est pas pour dater.
Ma fille chanter pour vous. Oh, 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 depuis dat moi la ma pétan, minouette m'en pas la pluie, qui j'en pour mander, qui j'en pour prier, depuis dat moi la ma pétan, minouette m'en pas la pluie, ma pétan journée, journée wa va pas mal, pour moi-même les wallet. Mon petit côté bien loin, pour l'amour nous donnait, comme belle fleur en sirène, qui refuse de faire main, qui refuse de faire nain, qui j'en pour demander, qui j'en pour prier, depuis date moi la ma pétan, oui t'aime en bas la pluie, qui j'en pour demander, qui j'en pour prier, depuis date moi la ma pétan, minouette m'en bas la pluie, ma pétan journée, journée wa va pas mal, ou moi mener walé, on petit côté bien loin, où l'amour nous donnait, comme belle fleur en sirène, qui refuse de faire main, qui refuse de faire nain.
C'est pas pour dater.
Irritant-nous, chérie, moi.
C'est pas pour dater.
Irritant-nous, doudou, moi.
C'est pas pour dater.
Irritant-nous, chérie, moi.
C'est pas pour dater.
Irritant-nous, doudou, moi.
C'est pas pour dater.
C'est pas pour peine, ouais. T'as réfléchi, tu problème, ouais. Pour nous vivre courant, c'est clair. Avec aussi, mais tout malheur.
Ouais, comment tout pas tout. Si moi faire mal, si tu fais les mois désolé, à cause de moi oui ça arrivé. Pas tout, ça fait mal, pardonnez-moi. Si moi faire la peine, ça fait mal,
Ça fait mal,
pardonnez-moi. Si moi faire la peine.
tout seul de la peine, ouais. T'as réfléchi, tu problème, ouais. Pour nous vivre courant, c'est clair. Avec aussi, mais tout malheur. Me commander ou pardon. Pardon si moi faire mal. Si tu as fait les moins désolé. Pardon si moi oui ça arrivé. Pardon.
Si nous cadencer, tu foutais, on est pas pour pied. Si nous cadencer, tu foutais, on est pas pour pied. Ça fait mal, ça fait mal.
Je viens de commencer, séquence caressée. Et tu me dis tranquille, faut pas cesser. Encore fouté à dents, c'est ça qui est important. Laisse-moi promener mes mains de petits malins. Allez, ça glisse.
Au pays des merveilles,
Bravo Frankie.
je sens tes groseilles.
Allez, ça glisse.
Au pays des merveilles,
Bravo Frankie.
c'est du savon de Marseille.
C'est ça. Elvi Joule. Tu passes tes mains câlines, pas de poils sur ma poitrine. Tu approches ta bouche féline, attends-moi faut que j'urine. Mon zizi délicieux est peut-être vicieux. Je deviens tout puissant dans ce lit excitant. Alice, ça glisse.
Au pays des merveilles,
Bravo Frankie.
je sens tes groseilles.
Alice, ça glisse.
Au pays des merveilles,
Bravo Frankie.
c'est du savon de Marseille.
C'est ça.
C'est un vrai sex symbole.
Aimer manger si nos bons. J'ai beaucoup de charme, les femmes s'enflamment. Quand Alice atteint l'orgasme, mais pas comme toutes les dames. Elle ne gémit pas, préfère tousser.
C'est un vrai sex symbole.
Aimer manger si nos bons. J'ai beaucoup de charme, les femmes s'enflamment. Quand Alice atteint l'orgasme, mais pas comme toutes les dames. Elle ne gémit pas, préfère tousser. C'est
just love Kyrie FM.
Ai, mulai sema yuna wuli misi kemeo amuju. Eni wase na deregba meyi. Je te sens plus amuju ewe. Ike no wama okuna dugurudu ye. Nisoke pleo ni sheri yene. Na wuli mesio ma na dere ngamo ko subise eni de kodei wuli me ni ma me je comprends plus au nom de Dieu tout que on est beisa tous les jours joli amour c'est l'amour pour toujours. Oh yeah, l'amour se cache toujours là où on ne l'attend pas. Allez, si c'est ça l'amour là, je meurs pour l'amour et non gnagne oh, je m'habille et non gnagne. Si tu l'obéis, c'est wa bébé. Et la batia kekele wa buki ale ya yao. Ale se mayuna kremeni mogare. Ene kade medei. Le bri le coup je suis foutu. Au nom de Dieu je suis amoureux. Eni dubei keo, eni apino keo. Valencia. Eye bonekei, eni ameyale. L'amour est encore plus fort. Je ne me contrôle plus. C'est un amour à sens unique. Mais je t'aime, pays. Tout c'est un paysage. Quand de toi, il est tellement amoureux de YouTube. Esa verena Nicola, amuju ya kemia, domio nini sabazatei, bébé. La sœur Fadel, Mohamed Diallo, tu vois. Domio ne me laisse pas tomber, yeah. Dogoté. C'est la société. Ne me laisse pas tomber. Domio, maman jolie. Domio, ne me laisse pas tomber. Mete camela pereño muso. Na bei apa muju, one akawe seripo. Onyi mose na mina la go la plus en fou. Je ne te sens plus, ma jolie femme africaine. Je ne te sens plus bébé, ma jolie go africaine. Je ne te sens pas du tout comme dans les 5 premiers jours.
Builders get both benefits and rewards. When building or renovating, your daughter has more power. Rudolph Thomas is fully stocked, supplying all of your complete hardware needs. The best selection of your plumbing and fittings for every purpose. Plywood, cement, steel, beautiful bathroom fixtures, solid eye-catching board roofing material, nuts and bolts, and a breathtaking selection of panels, windows, and doors to suit your absolute delight and design. Get tiles in all styles, wire mesh, fencing wire, from floor to ceiling supplies at super excellent discount prices. Time to remodel your kitchen? Rudolph Thomas now has in stock toaster ovens, electrical kettles, solid acrylic countertops, microwaves, irons, and other top-line appliances. Get your deals and volume purchases. Free island-wide delivery in the mall. Live in happening with your money. Enjoy the melody of great bargains. Only at Rudolph Thomas, 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth. From foundation to roof, Rudolph Thomas provides the proof.
Adassa. Hello, don't try that.
We bring it to you from a local, regional, and international perspective.
The Windsor Park is the only park that is usually filled when the West Indies team is playing. If you look at Trinidad, the park is empty. Barbados, the park is empty. Antigua don't even bother go to cricket anymore.
It's Sports Connection on Kyrie FM every Tuesday from 6:30 p.m. We agree to disagree, but at the end, we do it in the inches of sports development in Dominica.
I heard Dominicans trying to defend dropping Shane, and I was pretty upset.
Sports Connection every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. right here on Kyrie FM. You just have to listen.
The views expressed on this program are not those of Kyrie FM, and the station will not accept responsibility for any statements made therein.
Well, it's Tuesday, the 29th day of the month of April in the year of our Lord 2025. And usually at this time at 6:30, well, it's now 6:33, it's another episode of the Sports Connection right there in the studios of Kyrie FM. And so if you're tuned in on 88.7, 91.1, 93.1, or 107.9, we say thank you for tuning in with us. And if you're following on the Facebook Live, we say, as usual, it's always a pleasure when you're part of our audience. Quite a few things happening in sports over the past week, and we're going to be discussing some of that. I want to say to our listeners, though, that we will be without our usual co-host, Mr. Anthony Scottish Scotland, who is out on business and unable to be with us this evening. I know he tried his best for him to be able to engage us via the virtual platform, but that is not possible. But Scotty, if you can hear my voice, I know the listeners are going to be instituted this evening. And so I want to say to our callers, as we discuss the various aspects of this show, please chime in with your comments on the Facebook Live, and also you can always call in at 448-7337 or 448-7338 if you want to reach us. And if you want to do that on the overseas number, you can call us on 1-305-906-6214 as we discuss the pertinent issues. Now, in the times past, when we started the program, where you would always have a social issue, and I have resolved in myself to discuss some of the social issues that are being, or that are taking place in the communities. And this time I am without Mr. Scotland, and so we will not delve into it this evening. But I want to tell the listeners, please gear up, because Scotty usually spearheads that aspect of the program. But we will be making do in the future broadcast of the Sports Connection as we discuss some social issues, things that maybe just gripes us, things that probably are just a little bit nervy, and things that maybe are unbecoming, and maybe we need to highlight it as we become positive people in society, not being those kicking against the prick, but those that are actually calling out the mishaps, calling out the wrongdoings, so we could help steer our young people in the right direction. But with us this evening, we are gonna kick off with the football on the Facebook Live is, sorry, not the Facebook Live, on the Zoom platform is the PRO of the Dominica Football Association, Mr. Emmy Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence, pleasant good evening to you, and welcome to the Sports Connection. Mr. Lawrence, can you unmute your mic? Mr. Evie Lawrence, can you unmute your mic? Okay, we're probably having a little technical difficulty there with Mr. Lawrence, and we'll try to make contact with him and then get back. But he is connected, that we know for sure. Maybe there's some slight little hiccups because he was on the screen a while ago, and so as we deal with the little hiccups from the technical difficulties that we're having with regards to the Zoom, let's have a discussion. You know, quite a few things would have taken place. We saw a young gentleman, only 14 in the IPL, scoring the second fastest century in the history of the IPL with 11 sixes and 7 fours. Tremendous. Scored that in 35 deliveries and then got out on the 40th delivery. That is showing some promise that our young people, they have potential, and not just a Dominica thing, not just an Indian thing. We really have to give our young people the opportunities. And I remember just last week, I was having a discussion with somebody, and I think there's one of the associations or one of the international federations and international parent bodies are not allowing people of a certain age to play on national teams. I'm not sure if it is the football, if it's a FIFA thingy, or if it's an ICC thing. But, you know, sometimes when we look at the likes of Sachin Tendulkar, who grew to be the best thing since sliced bread in the cricket with a bat, we're wondering if those things make sense. We also saw Wayne Rooney at 15 being a professional football player, and I remember during my stay at the University of the West Indies when I was doing business law, we saw the case for Wayne Rooney being a minor, unable to sign a contract, but having to do some special things with regards to him being able to contract at that age group so he could maximize his potential playing professional at such an early age. And now we're seeing this young guy. And so I want to tell the young cricketers in Dominica that you too can do it. You just have to stay positive and keep working at it. But there's one of the things that my co-host and I remember Beno lamenting, that the lack of parental support that we get in Dominica. Our national under-19 cricket team preparing to leave state and having practice matches, and we're not seeing our parents. And I think I can single out 3 parents who are very supportive of their young children participating in sports, and those 3 are Dr. Barry Kazimi, the father of Ajani Kazimi, cyclist, national cyclist, Levi Barron, the father of Kohath Barron, also a national cyclist, probably the most accomplished so far in Dominica. And then we have Beno Pascal himself, the father of Stefan Pascal, who is a national cricketer, Windward Islands cricketer, and West Indies under-19 player, and would have gone to the extent where the entire family would have gone, traveled to South Africa when Stefan Pascal was representing the West Indies as the U19 football captain. Sorry, cricket captain. I apologize with the football because Ebid Lawrence just came in. His mic is back on. And so, Mr. Lawrence, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening. Mr. Lawrence? Mr. Lawrence, we can hear background noise from you. Okay, one of his devices, or he just got disconnected. So I'm hoping that Mr. Lawrence can get reconnected soon. So I was having the discussion before, the monologue before we lost Evie Lawrence, the PRO of the Dominica Football Association, who we're going to be engaging this evening because there are some things that they want to bring to the fore as it relates to football. But prior to that, we're having that little monologue with regards to the lack of parental support in Dominica sports. And I was referencing this gentleman, this young guy from India who is playing in the IPL at age 14. And what we saw today was his picture when he was just 7 years old in the IPL with his parents supporting his interest. And then the parents are there. And so I'm saying when we support our young people, our parents are going to have to support the drive of our young players. But Ebby, you're back on. Pleasant good evening and welcome to the Sports Connection.
Come in. You see?
Mr. Lawrence.
Obey.
Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence, you muted your mic. Could you take the mic and start to engage the public? Yeah. So this is something that was happening. I think that is worth talking about. And when we see our young talents, we have to embrace it. And sometimes when those young talents come on, they tend to hit a brick wall. And interestingly, this afternoon, one of my colleagues was saying to me, Yudi, it's all good and well when you have somebody just burgeons on the scene like that. But it's how they bounce back. And sometimes it's the bouncing back that is good. Ali Kathanas was one of the persons, after he made his early noise, he went through a rough patch. But he was able to bounce back to selector and then to secure his spot as one of the frontline batsmen for the West Indies in Test cricket. Today he is the captain of the Windward senior team, and he scored 92 not out in this West Indies Breakout League in the match against Guyana. And so bouncing back is something that we need to do and I need to be able to do. So when you get there, so if you were a young cricketer out there and you probably felt like you plateaued, that's okay. It's okay. Just keep working at it so you can actually get there. On this note, we're going to take some word from our sponsors and then we will be right back.
At World of Towers, builders get both benefits and rewards. When building and renovating, your dollar has more power. World of Towers is fully stocked, supplying all of your complete hardware needs. The best selection of your plumbing and fittings for every purpose. Plywood, cement, steel, beautiful bathroom fixtures, solid eye-catching board roofing material, nuts and bolts, and a breathtaking selection of panels, windows, and doors to suit your absolute delight and design. Get towers in all styles, wire mesh, fencing wire, from floor to ceiling supplies at super excellent discount prices. Time to remodel your kitchen? Rudolph Thomas now has in stock toaster ovens, electrical kettles, solid acrylic countertops, microwaves, irons, and other top brand appliances. Get your deals and volume purchases, free island-wide delivery and more. Live in happily with your money. Enjoy the melody of great bargains. Only at Rudolph Thomas, 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth. From foundation to roof, Rudolph Thomas provides the proof.
We bring it to you from a local, regional, and international perspective.
The Windsor Park is the only park that is usually field when the West Indies team is playing. If you look at Trinidad, the park is empty. Barbados, the park is empty. Antigua don't even bother go to cricket anymore.
It's Sports Connection on Kyrie FM. Every Tuesday from 6:30 p.m. We agree to disagree, but at the end we do it in the inches of sports development in Dominica.
I heard Dominicans trying to defend dropping Shane, and I was pretty upset.
Sports Connection every Tuesday 6:30 p.m. right here on Kyrie FM. You just have to listen.
All right, we say welcome back to the Sports Connection, Mr. Lawrence. We have you on the line, and you just muted your mic again. Can you unmute your mic if you can hear me?
Yes, Judy.
Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying, welcome to the Sports Connection. A pleasant good evening to you.
Pleasant good evening, Mr. John, and pleasant good evening to the listeners of Kyrie FM.
I could see you having a little bit of challenges with regards.
No, we are positioned presently. The internet is kind of dropping, so I had to find myself in a higher altitude.
So I want to apologize to the listeners on behalf, but we're happy to have you, Mr. Lawrence. And I know whenever that voice comes in the studios of Kyrie FM, the listeners know it's something about football. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but Mr. Lawrence, the National Football League is on the Premier Division. How are things shaping up for the season so far?
Well, presently with a few minor hiccups, UD, I must say that the league started on a very good tangent, and we are positioned. We are positioned to continue to see some fantastic display of talents during our Premier League and also First Division. But nonetheless, things are moving smoothly.
Yeah, but Mr. Lawrence, so far with where are we in terms of the week? In terms of which week are we in? We started the league when?
We closed on week 6. But the thing about week 6 closing, the fixture would have stated that DSFC would have met RS Bombers. That's last week Sunday, but this game was not played due to some miscommunication. Nonetheless, the other clubs have played their games, and as a result, we await the final game, which will be played actually on Friday at 7 p.m. in Portsmouth, so that the tables and the points standing will show exactly where we are in week number 6 of our Premier games.
So, as of now, from our last update, who is sitting at the top of the table?
Dubla is still at the top of the table, standing with a clear 13 points.
They are 13 points.
I think 13. Place. Yeah, Dubla would be 16 points as of the week 6. But again, the table will show comes Friday when we clear up the last game. We will be able to put a comprehensive, although I know, but you never know between DS and RS Bombers who will emerge winners. So as a result, we hold on the table for now. Yeah, but Dubla would be leading for now.
For now.
Presently, as we have it for the week number 5, Middleham would be in second position. And in the cellar position, we would have Point Michel FC.
From when?
Hello?
6? From week 5?
Yeah, Point Michel would be in the cellar position. But the last weekend there, we had some interesting encounters. We see Middleham getting a resounding 7 from We United. So again, the table will change as we await the results after the game played on Friday.
But do you have the results of the games played so far in week 6 of the competition?
Yeah, well, what I know is that Dubla won against Hallen. Saltfish drew. Yes, Saltfish drew with Point Michel. We United gave Point Michel a resounding 7. Unfortunately, we see the strides of East Central coming back and drawing the game with Belfast Mao Soccer Strikers. So it's really interesting to see what is happening during our leagues. And I must commend, I must say, the coaches and the players, UD, for really standing out amidst the difficult times, man.
But Ebby, usually Dominica football, especially at the national level, it is plagued with low scoring or poor scoring. But we're seeing the teams actually scoring, and I think, or would you ascribe the level of preparation that is being done with the teams? Because if you want to follow the Facebook of the DFA, which I must put to give 2 thumbs up, because you're almost always on the ball in terms of providing updates on the week games, and you are also providing updates like little snippets of videos of teams in training. But in some of the other national sports, we are not seeing that level of consistency with the training. Do you ascribe that level of preparation towards to the success of what we are seeing in the National League as of now?
Yes, Judy, that's why I will say I commend the very clubs for doing their work. I commend the senior national men's team coach in the person of Mr. Sabin for also doing wonderful work, because at the end of the day, every club, Judy, comes with its own unique talent. And when this unique talent will meet with other clubs that they know, for example, let's take one like a Javid George versus a Briello and Antoine Larocque. They know Javid's strengths. Javid knows theirs. So when this group of fellows would combine together, let me tell you, the product will unfold. And like I said to persons, just give us a chance. Let us really develop what we see is happening now. And in the next 5-6 years, Dominica will have something to boast about.
Yes, so I want to commend you guys on what you're doing. I think I'm just pulling out some of the things that 7-2, the 7-2 beating was We United versus who?
Middleham. We United and Middleham, yeah.
But Middleham, incidentally, by as of week 5, they was in second place.
We were in second place. So that's what I'm saying. And I said to you, we await the results for the RS Bombers game versus that of DSFC. DSFC is another formidable team. And I mean, yes, they stood up to Dubla in their first game, UD. Dubla gave them a 1-0. Actually, the hardest beating they've gotten is from their very own nemesis, that is of the Port Michel club. Port Michel gave them in their second game a good little run to show them that the Premier game is big man thing. But they've stood beyond the hands of time and really giving something. And I wait to see what will happen second round and the rest of their games. Because I can hear Coach Kunta saying, fellas, let's get ready for Friday. We did not play Sunday, but get yourselves together for Friday.
Yeah. But it's nice that we can have a derby in the Premier Division.
We have many derbies.
I love when East Central playing We United. That for me is one of the most, just for me, it's one of the most look forward to game from me, because the two teams from the Castle Bruce area, they're going up against each other. And now that we have the other derby, Point Michel, the Point Michel derby between DSFC and Point Michel FC, that for me makes an interesting look. And you know, sometimes I wonder who some of the people from the community are supporting, because you know, it's both of them are the players from both teams are the same community, and you're wondering like, so I like that kind of rivalry.
I like it. While not wanting to trip you, another interesting derby would be that of the Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers and that of Dubla. When that game was played in Dubla, for every goal you could see the fans running across the park, man, and it's like, oh my God, this is getting serious here, man.
Yeah, man. So those they make interesting conversation. But you spoke about wanting to just be patient and to look at stuff as they develop. We have other youthful competition, and that is where I think the other national federations are lacking, providing competition for young people. And we have an ongoing U15 football league. How is that shaping up? And how do you think it is contributing to the development of the sport at the level?
Yeah. Okay. We've Coach Hurd. That's our new FIFA talent coach on island, and his continuous training with the high performance centers, the RTCs, UDI. I must commend the team of workers with him, and also that of the technical department. The under 15 is moving satisfactorily. We have games on Saturday as we speak. Saturday at 11 a.m. we will have a game, and that game will be between ACS Tarish and Karibishi. That game will be played in Portsmouth, while we have the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers coming up against their very neighbors, the Dubla FC at 12:30 at the Benjamin Park. That very Saturday, UD South is coming up against St. Paul's Academy. And if you take also the listening public would take time off on a Saturday or on a Tuesday or on a Thursday just to be at the Stock Farm Technical Center and see these young athletes, these young men and women, they show what is about to unfold. Let me tell you, the sky's the limit for Dominica football. Like I can tell you, with Coach Hurd and the present executive, the members, the staff of DFA, together with the technical director, we shall see something happen. And I want to commend the young men and women, also thank the parents for allowing them the opportunity to be part of that. And you divide sometimes we hear the negatives, and the onus is also on the PRO to bring the positives and also speak when the negatives. But I must commend our association, because like you rightly said, there are many others that lack the very programs that we have. But as to developing and marketing the product properly, we will lag behind. But going forward, this is our impetus now to shoot and shoot hard to get where we want to get.
But I am loving what I'm seeing on your Facebook page. If I need information, I can always just fly to the Facebook page and get that information going. Who is the person responsible for managing the Facebook page with all the nice graphics that we're seeing?
Well, I must give credit to a group of young men, stream genius, Camilo Corbett, also that of Gavin Richards, and myself for sitting and putting things together. I would say to persons, I'm not the computer graphic person, but when talented and capable men and women come together to say, hey, excuse me, this is the talent that I want to offer to you and the Football Association, we take it and run. And I want to commend them for really coming together, and we sit and together put things in shape. So it's a group of young men and also lady that sit, and we provide proper graphic into our Facebook page.
Yeah, it's very attractive, I must say. It's commendable.
Thank you.
2 thumbs up. And usually when we have PROs usually come out as just one person just reading the news or just reading a news. No.
Well, from get-go, I said to persons that my drive and my energy in this is to bring a new value. Is to place value on the athletes, to place a value on the football, because it's a big product that can be developed. Yes, there are others that can give the news, but the onus is on also not only on me, but let someone else take up the mantle when Eddie is gone. When that person is gone, the legacy continues, and that's what one of the things we lack. We lag in Dominica, that some of us are afraid to let go. And when we allow others to understudy us and even to assist in doing what we want, we will see a better thing.
Yeah, man, there's glory in collaboration, and I'm seeing it for you guys.
Yeah, man.
But having said this, Evie, you spoke about the brightness. Are we seeing quality young players in the RTCs that we may have a very youthful player burgeoning on the scene on the national level soon?
Soon enough, you will see that. And again, like I will say to the very parents, to the very stakeholders, just take a first day off and come to the Stock Farm Technical Center and see what is happening. To the corporate business sponsors, just take a chance and come and let's together reason. Because I can attest to you, there are some talents that are hidden in Karibishi, in Marigot, in Grand Bay, in the Kalinago territory. These are areas that are not so football oriented. But when you will see these young men and women on the field, you'd wonder, where were they all along?
So now that you've mentioned the areas where we have the RTCs, and we're talking the under 15 football, how many of the clubs in the Premier Division, or let me rephrase the question, how many teams do we have in the U15 league?
Well, 12. We are 12 teams registered thus far.
Mm-hmm.
I know Mr. Faswa would share more light because he's the youth coordinator. There were some clubs, as we are speaking, that did not fully meet the mandate in terms of they did not send in all the players' name. But that is being worked on, and as soon as everything is ironed out and ironed out properly, then again, we will keep the public informed.
Now, when we look at We United FC and Southeast FC and Harlem FC, even Dublin FC, these are the top. These are the top
Portsmouth Bombers as well, huh?
These are the top teams that we normally see in recent times at the top of the FA and Premier Division. How many of those clubs there in the Premier Division actually have those youth arms now in the under 15 league? I can see the We United for sure, Southeast United or Southeast FC, Harlem FC, those Dublin and Bombers. Well,
Dublin.
Go ahead.
Dublin got one and RS Bombers got one.
Oh, so these are the
RS Bombers would be Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers.
And Point Michel FC.
And yeah, one thing that is happening now in terms of East Central and that of East Central is working on this as we speak. So in the Premier, and that is another thing that is commendable. The very foundation is being laid, and that I must commend the clubs for even taking on board, because that was one of our requirements for licensing, that a youth arm should be part of their very program. And I must commend the clubs that take it. I must commend as well ACS Parish, that in the person of JJ, that of the Kalinago, and all other clubs that are seeing the need to really enhance what we're speaking of.
All right, Ebi. I mean, great stuff as it relates to the U15 league. But the boys are usually of school age. We're into the third term, and usually that's a very short term condensed schoolwork, and yet still the competition is ongoing. So I'm sure that there must be a strategic approach to getting the boys to be in competition even while at school. So if I as a parent, or I as a well-wisher, supporter, or a hopeful benefactor to the young people, what days do I get to go and look at the games, and where do you guys normally play the games? Is there a set day?
On Saturdays, because that's a day you will not hear anybody say, I have school that day. So on Saturdays, between the hours of 11 and that of 1 o'clock, we will see our young persons in action in Castleborough. We see them in action in La Plaine, in Dublin, in Portsmouth, obviously Roseau as well. So it's a cross-section UD, not just bringing them to Stockfarm. If you want to see them in actual training with the others, and that of Coach Hurd and Hamilton, you come up to the Stockfarm Technical Center on Thursdays and on Tuesdays, and you see them in action. That is, they now doing their national training. These are those the coach have identified those and say, oh, okay, this one got talent here. Let's see how we can better that, and eventually we have a star.
Okay then. I mean, certainly you guys have a plan, and the strategy seems to be working. And I recently heard on the news the president of the Dominican Football Association, Mr. Glenn Etienne, stating that he is in support of a policy for just 6 international players or overseas-based players to be part of the national team. Do you think that program that you're having is going to complement or to actually create that level of sustainability that we're looking for in terms of creating young talents on a consistent basis? Do you think it's going to complement that policy, or do you think it's a deliberate action to be able to satisfy the sustainability that policy requires?
On both points, there are merits. I would say to persons, I'm not bashing our overseas players. I give credits to all of them for really coming up to the fore when called upon for national duty. But when you look at the talents in Dominica, I sometimes say those out of state, those in the foreign base, we would call it, are they better when they come and play? For example, are they giving us product? Are they showing what they've learned? Did they acquire enough skills? So here's the policy, the 6 players versus that of if we have an all national team. It's a give and take, and probably in the years ahead, we may go or we may revisit it, but for now, both bring a rather balance to what is really happening, because you do not want one person to say, oh, all of a sudden this club alone dominates the football. So it's a cross section, and again, one of the approaches to that, Yudi, is probably the length of training, because one of my greatest dilemma, and it happens as we speak. We send for the foreign-based players. Do they have time to gel with what is in Dominica? Just like those in Dominica, do they? And we need to begin to focus in this area. I come out from work, and as I come out from work, I have to run to national training. I reach home about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, about 11 o'clock in the night. I take my 5-hour rest, brew my leave for work again. We now have to start developing the culture that, hey, if we want to take football seriously, there are things we need to do differently. And that is my opinion on it. Both 6 or none, it doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, what matters is our athletes can go and really penetrate the world market and make a name for themselves, make a name for country, make a name for the very clubs to which they belong to.
All right. Well, Ebby, we've spoken about that extensively. We were talking about the Premier Division, and we know the Division 1 is commencing soon. Well, what is the date for the commencement?
It started.
It
started on Thursday.
On Thursday. Do you have any results of the Division 1?
Interestingly, we had some games. We had Mighty Avengers playing Do It Center Mighty Avengers playing Bathurst State. That game drew. One of the game, the Kalinago Warriors. They got 12 love. They are fresh on the block, so they have to be baptized by fire. So they got a 12 love from LA Stars. And the game between that were to be played in Stockton did not take place due to, again, miscommunication. But we want to inform, as while we speak in Newdy, our players, that first division games when played will be played at 4, and the Premier starts at 4:30 p.m. on a given Saturday. So Premier games will be played at 4:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. respectively. So we do not want the confusion, and there was a little hiccup between that, but going forward, clarity will be given as we again have a good trajectory for the end of season.
But how many teams do we have in the first division competition?
1, 2, 3, 4,
16?
32 teams. 32, we have 11 and 11, 22.
22. So there are 22 teams, and in one week we have as many as 8 games.
Yeah.
All right. So, but those games, I remember when you and Judah Corriett, your colleague, was on with us prior to this commencement of the Premier Division. We identified Benjamin Spark.
Yes, we do. Dublin.
Benjamin Spark, Dublin, and the Stock Farm. The Stock Farm Complex. Now we're looking at the Premier Division. I think we had 3 venues, and then we understood when availability we would use the stadium. But now that we're in Division 1, Division 1, where are you actually looking to play the games in addition to those 3 venues that you would have stated for the Premier Division football?
Well, we have La Plaine, the Ronald Green La Plaine playing field.
Yeah.
And Geneva
Granby. So that we have 5 locations now.
So we have 5 venues.
5 venues for football now. So now
And we are considering that of Castlebros in the near future.
All right. Yeah, so, but in terms of scheduling for this week, we're going to be looking at the football for the Premier Division, because we know soon we're going to have something else coming up, which is the international friendlies.
International friendly, yes, and that is an exciting moment. But there is a hiatus for this weekend in the Premier Division.
Yes.
The only game we will see is that of the week 5, that DSFC meet with RS Bombers on Friday at 7 p.m. That's the only Premier game that will be played
this weekend.
So I want to remind, that's the only Premier game that will be played this weekend, and that game will be played on Sunday. But because again of miscommunication, this game is for Friday. But due to some exciting time, the reason for the hiatus is because of the international friendly, which will be played in Dominica come the 8th and that of the 11th of May, 2025. The 8th of May, that's the first day, we will see Lights Action Camera Talent in Stock Farm. Yeah, we're going to play the game in Stock Farm. One might say, are we ready for Stock Farm? Yes, we are. We are doing all in our power, all in our step to ensure that this game is being played in Stock Farm come 7 p.m. the Thursday, the 8th of May. And Sunday, which is Mother's Day, all roads lead to the stadium to see again our young men versus that of Barbados. It's FIFA sanctioned. Our guys win. Our rating changes. And I want to call on all of us in Dominica to really come after Jazz and Creole and support these young men. Come with the Lapo Cabwits, Dede and Mao and Sugar Fire. Come, let's have a Pandomania on the 8th and the 11th of May. Let us show the world that, guess what, we are not just a cricket nation, but we can project ourselves into a really mecca of football.
Now, for the 8th, you did mention that the game will be played at the Stock Farm Complex from 7 p.m. Now,
7
on the
p.m.
11th, is it going to be played at the stadium or is it going to be played at the Stock Farm Complex again?
The game on Sunday, which is Mother's Day, the 11th, will be played in the stadium. So they won the first day game, 7 p.m. It will be played at the Stock Farm Technical Center. And on Sunday, the 11th, at 4 p.m. at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium.
All right.
So 2 separate venues.
Yes, Ebby, now you touched on that nicely. I like the vibe and the hype that you give it. When we spoke earlier on, that is what I think I imagined you using that kind of a flair that you normally have when the mic is in front of you at a sporting competition to really encourage the Dominican public to come out. And I think you did that. You articulated that very well. And so Sunday.
And Judy, we are just seeking a small contribution from the patrons. One might say, but if I'm in Stock Farm, I do not need to pay a small contribution of $10 for sitting on the stands. So because we want to do things in order. For sitting, that's for adults, and children under 12, near 5. And security, we will be wide out style. So it's not just football there. We want order, and like I say, there is order in Dominica, and in the stadium, the same applies. The adults, you pay 20, because we are looking to at the very end of it to honor, to celebrate our mothers in the stadium. So we're just asking the fans and the patrons to come down. I even putting it to the corporate sponsors, come and let's see ways where we can, when the other part of our football will start, and that will be that of the World Cup qualifier in June, that the corporate sponsors can come on board and their products be advertised for the world to see. You see, football cannot be isolated. It's a bigger thing than that, man.
Yeah, but I like that. Now, usually when we go out, Dominicans like to go out and be a sea of green. I remember the last time that
come with your green. Come with your green.
The last time we were playing, I think it was Jamaica. That Dominica was clad in white and Jamaica was in green. And Dominica implemented that. On Thursday and Sunday.
Come with your green. Come with your whites. Come with your green. Come with your whites.
No.
It's all about GA.
I want to ask the question so people would know which ones we are wearing on which night. On Thursday night.
Thursday night, well, the technical team did not say actually what uniform they are going to play, but knowing we green and white, I would say come with the white on Thursday. That is me. it could be corrected, but on Thursday come with the white. It's a sea of white.
And Sunday we're in a sea
And on
of green.
Sunday we ban the green.
I wish Coach Dunga could give us a call.
Well, that would be Dunga, but again, that would be
nice
he's calling on his stick because this game actually UD will be officiated by Kititians. So as to what they spoke to, if they have requested the kits, and that I know they have done. So it's only Coach Sabin and or manager Anson that would be able to tell us exactly what color would they will use on that day. But that will not be an issue. I will always make the public know. We will put it on the Facebook page. We will send little nuggets on WhatsApp and hype it up as we have to.
All right. No, those international friendlies, those two international friendlies, they serve a purpose as warm-up matches for Dominica. Their final two engagements in the World Cup qualifier. Am I right?
Yes, they do. That's the overall reason for it.
So give us an idea of Dominica's next showing at the international level in competition with the World Cup qualifiers. That is, when, who are their opponents, and when are those matches scheduled for?
Well,
and when?
We have a home game in versus BVI in Dominica come the 4th of June, and the away game will be in Dominican Republic the 9th. So that is where we are for this year.
Now, is Dominica? These are World Cup qualifiers. Where do we go from the completion of those two matches?
The two, well, we await our fate, and going forward, we will, wherever the competition will be held, we again will participate. Then UD, with all what is happening in our present premier with Coach Hurd and others, our B licensed coaches, we will see next year for sure a real different Dominican flavor.
But then, beyond those two matches, Dominica cannot qualify.
No, we cannot qualify.
All right. So, and if
but at least we can prove to ourselves and to the world from where the position that we are, the rating that we are, winning this game will change the rating.
So we're gonna go for that. We're gonna come out and support.
Yeah, man, we got to support. We got to support. We got to show support, and that is one of the things we echo to many of our fans and the persons. The stadium shock. You see, whenever our boys would travel, based on where they are, the stadium would be filled with the supporters of that country, with a few from Dominica. But we want to ask those of us that are here, please come, please bring the children. Come, it's a family affair. Let's sit and let's watch the football, support our sons, and we have the team selected thus far. And I just want to encourage us to take the opportunity, meet them, encourage them, tell them, rooting for you, I'm shouting you out, and I want to just encourage us to do what is there. And Judy, as we speak, the list is in my hands. Do you want me to go through it?
Yes.
With the public?
Yes, certainly. You use the opportunity to break the news to the public with regards to the people that are making that.
Okay.
That's the local.
The 20-man. The 20-man, and you could use the exit, some part of the exit for your news. The 20-man squad for the Dominica Football Association. Friendly game versus Barbados. We have goalkeepers Jerome Burkard and Dante Newton. These are the goalkeepers being selected. In defense, we have Eustace Marshall, Marcus Bridas, Dale Dangben, Jalen Jomali, Jelani Xavier, Filson Lockhart, Nick Anthony. We have in the midfield Brian Thomas, the Mario Challenger, Kian Thomas, Corbin Paul, Leon Edwards, Nathan Newton, Travis Joseph, Savio Ansem, Odell Laville, Rion Coffey, Anton Larocque, Marcellus Bonney, Dante Warrington, and Javid George will do our country justice as they were selected, the 20-man squad selected by Coach Sabin for the international friendly on the 8th and that of the 11th of May.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Except Mr. Lawrence for pointing out the players who have made the team. On your list, do you have the clubs from which they come?
I wanted to do that, and I will add it on the page. But I can tell you for sure, Jerome Burkard is of the Central Cooperative Dublin FC. Dante Newton would be from Harlem, from ex-Harlem. Eustace Marshall, Bath Estate. Marcus Bredas, well, he was from Port Michel, but right now transferred to Dublin, Central Cooperative Dublin FC. Dale Dangben, which will be obviously reunited. Dylan, RS Bombers. Nick Anthony would be from Maho, Brielle Thomas, Central Cooperative Credit Union, the Mario Challenger, Maho, Kian Thomas, We United, Javid George, Southeast, Travis Joseph would be Dublin, Savio Anselm, We United. So we have a quite number of guys from various premier clubs representing, and you just gave me a very good idea. Going forward, we will put the clubs that they represent on the Facebook page. So put in their names and we'll put the logo of the clubs they represent. You just give me an idea as I'm speaking.
But this is
so people can identify the very players with the club.
Right, and then you're gonna get their fan base, the club fan base is gonna come as well. Knowing that they have players from their team that are on this squad.
Yes, and I'm going to do that as soon as we it may not go up tonight, but we just start the process of putting it in order.
All right. But Evie, I appreciate your involvement and on what you provide the listeners with on this evening show. You made mention on at least 3 occasions during our conversation of just one game being played is it Saturday night?
On Friday
evening.
Friday.
Between DSFC and
yes.
And Roosevelt Scary.
DSFC, yes. However, without tripping you, there will be a game on Thursday in the first division. That is Derby Boys coming up against Bath Estate on Thursday at 6:30 in Stock Farm. We still have first division games because first division will continue in La Plaine. We will have La Plaine coming up against St. Joseph. That game will be played at 6:30 in La Plaine. And on Friday as well. So we have games on Thursday, we have games on Friday. So the premier game will be played on Friday at 7 p.m.
Yes, but there is what was the situation that I heard you mention miscommunication, but incidentally I was in the locality when the game was blown off. Maybe that discussion is not for you as PRO, but what do you make of the game being blown off in the circumstances that it happened?
Well, between you and I take part of it because when the post went up, the game said 5 p.m. When we put up the fixtures or the flyers, it stated 5. However, in our meeting at when we had the last executive meeting, it was agreed upon that going forward, the afternoon games on Saturday would be played 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. respectively, and that was for the Premier. However, most likely the communication did not reach the referees on time, and it caused a rift, meaning the game that was to be played in Portsmouth at 6:30, the referees got the notion that it was at 5. Hence, the referees blew the game, not knowing that it was 6:30. Well, that is what they gave. But the matter, as we speak, is being investigated. Huh?
But I am sure, I am sure that when the referee would have gotten there, that the cricket match was still going on, and cricket and football cannot be played at the same time because they overlap. While the Benjamin's Park is extremely large, there's an overlap in the football and cricket area. And because the cricket match was being played earlier on or during the course of the evening, and because there was a chance of a result, all the way up to almost 6 o'clock, the cricket match was still being played. So the referee,
the game could still have been played. The game could have been played at 7.
Yes,
it's just proper communication between the Cricket Association, proper communication with Cricket and the Football Association, and these matters could have been averted.
No,
well, that is my take on it, huh?
No, but Evie, just for dialogue and maybe take out your heart as PRO. When we look at what was put into getting the game played, the standards that are now being raised by DFA, they are very commendable. And I spoke about it earlier on. And personally, the general public are stating it, especially the users of social media. You know, your social media presence is outstanding. Yeah.
Thank you.
And doing that, you know, there's an extent to which you guys go to make things happen. I'm gonna hold my thought, stick a pin, and then take the caller. There's a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening.
Good evening, John. How are you doing?
I'm good. Blessings evening.
And the PR of the Football Association. Then the question I want to ask you, son, if a match supposed to start at 5 and there's a miscommunication, and instead the match supposed to start at 4, I could understand that something nothing maybe could have been done and so. But if a match has to start at 5 and then I move to 6:30, tell me why that match is not played, John. Try to explain to me and tell me why that match is not played.
That is exactly my point. When you look
tell me why that match is not played, because the match started, it didn't start at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, so we have to go out of the game and so on. But it started at 4, it's carried to start at 6:30. Tell me why the referee call of the game and go about the business. Tell me why the game is not played, John.
Because for me, it's disrespect for the game. One, I will tell you, okay, you had a contract, it was supposed to at that time, but the referees were transported by DFA.
Well, as we speak, and I'm taking it to that extent, let's leave that matter to be adjudicated by the Football Association, because like I said to you, this matter will be investigated, because not just the footballers are at stake here, because that will cost, for example, DSFC. I'm just using them because they were the ones going.
Yeah.
They had to pay bus for themselves. They have to pay bus for their fan base. In Portsmouth, there is a group of vendors. There are vendors that prepared because they know people would come. So me buying a box and I'm speaking now, I'm removing the hat, and I want people to sit in a perspective of just a normal person, and I'm moving my hat as an executive member. I buy my 2 cartons of chicken because I know a game is to be played in Portsmouth. I season the chicken, I get it ready, only to find out that you come to the game and the game is no longer played because guess what? Somebody tell you it's a wrong time and you just blow the game off without even speaking. So let's just leave it there a while, and in due time, the association will make a statement.
No, I don't want you to make a statement. You know, Abby.
No, I'm not telling you. I took off my hat as that of the PR, and I just want people to see it in the perspective of the fans living. Let's say, for example, Port Michel and going to Portsmouth. It costs them money.
Let's discuss that. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening.
John, you know the bush on the bush and so on. I just come to try to clear how I feel about the whole situation, John.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you, John, and the PRO, how many matches that the Football Association have been investigating? Because to me, I hear a lot of investigation. I hear nothing in terms of the month of investigation I hear in there. They're like months ago to now.
But Delvin, you asked the question before. You asked the question before you leave, and I do not want the PRO because I don't want him to get into trouble. So I want to answer it. Or I want to make a contribution because I was within the locality when those things happened. I was in the northern space. you have the officials being transported by DFA's vehicle, making use of DFA's vehicle. You have, as the PRO rightfully said, DS living all the way Point Michelle and coming up. Now, the DFA football, the Premier Division has reached a level where when a team goes, it's not just the team. When Dubla played, when the Bombers played against Southeast, I was also in the locality, and the number of vehicles I saw coming from Grand Fond and Rivière Civic Mont John, I couldn't believe my eyes. And that was a night game, big night. You have all these people moving. When you get there, let us suppose the communication was you had to start at 4 o'clock. But when you get there, you meet a cricket game that is being played from 10 o'clock in the morning or 9:30 in the morning, and it's still being played, and you cannot play the football match while the cricket game is going on, and you just opting to blow off a game. I mean, to me, it shows a firm level of disrespect. Yes, I understand you have your time, and you had your time and probably had a timetable to do things, but to blow off the game without that kind of amicable dialogue, well, okay, I have to go to work, I accepted to do the game at that time because it was not affecting my work period. But now that the game is starting so late, I cannot do it because I have to go to work, or I have that family commitment or those commitments. If you can communicate that well, you understand, I understand. But to show no regard to all what was put into getting the game played, or to comment for the game, reporting to the game, and for you to, without regard, just blow off the game without the communication, anything you can say at that stage thereafter for me is an excuse and not the reason for calling off the game. You understand? And I think too often officials, fans, players, administrators, we are too comfortable for disrespecting the sport. The sport is bigger than all of us. And I'm hoping that we can all see it that way. And the PRO made a very good point. I had not thought of the vendors. I only thought about the players. But when you really look at all the many stakeholders that come out to be part of the game, to make the product what it is, I think it is disrespect to the sport, what happened on Sunday. And I would love to hear the real reason and not the excuses that will surface for the calling off of the game. Ebby, don't put yourself in trouble. You are going to comment on that. I can comment.
Yourself in trouble, Mr. John. You've quite answered yourself and that of the others, because one would just think, well, it's the DFA that is doing their things anyhow. But I am happy you shed even better light to what transpired. But nonetheless, these are the little hiccups, and with the Cricket Association, let's work collaboratively. Yes, you are playing, but inform us in advance this is happening, and we inform you. Hello, like I said to persons, one man, not an island. When all of us come together, we will see things happen. And were we to have known that the game would have been extended to that period, well, we could have said earlier otherwise. But nonetheless, it happened, and moving forward, you will hear from the DFA. I can attest to that.
I mean, culpability. I'm not looking to blame neither the Dominica Cricket Association nor the DFA, which are the two organizations that were using the playing space.
Yeah.
DFA has their. I think you guys had your fixtures out for a while now.
Yes, we did.
You're not doing weekly things like it happened in the past. You have a whole...
No. Our fixtures, right. Actually, Julian, I must commend our new coordinator. The fixtures are set to end, and the fixtures are all complete.
Right. I'm aware of that. Now, subsequent to that, the Dominica Cricket Association started their Premier Division cricket. But people maybe not anticipating the game to go as deep as it went on.
Exactly.
You understand? And that is where we're calling for flexibility, because tomorrow morning, that same official, probably on his way to the game, could not make it or got into a situation. And because he was inflexible this time around in blowing off the game, you know what? the teams that will report to the game, think of it. Say Southeast playing against Southeast playing against say DS, and they're playing that game at Portsmouth at Benjamin's Park because the other venues are being used, and so for whatever reason. So you have two teams traveling a tremendous distance, right? And now they get to the venue and the game cannot be played because the official cannot get there. And we said, okay, you know what? You as the official meet the cost of the transportation for the players. You're gonna lament that. You understand where I'm coming from? And so flexibility too often is demanded in one direction. Both parties need to be wanting to be flexibility or enjoy the benefits of flexibility. And I'm saying this, that there should be a level of flexibility and dialogue. If there was dialogue prior to the blowing off of the game, maybe we could understand. But not having the kind of level of dialogue that we needed to have. I mean, it's second information, but it's, for me, it's downright ugly. I don't like to see it. We have a caller. Welcome to the Sports Connection.
We have a caller?
Yes, we do. Caller, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. John, it's me again.
Yeah.
John, I remember I was in the Referees Association.
Speak up, Devin, because you're extremely low.
I remember I was in the Referees Association many years ago, and then the rules and regulations and everything stipulate that we must have a police there to do the match. We must have a police there because it is that we should not referee the game. And that I was doing that game at Pottersville. One team came from Dailies, and the other team came from Vickers. And I had to make a decision, John, and they said that you have to have a police there. But I decided straight, my brother, a team came from Dailies, and another team came from Vickers, to a match in Pottersville, and to go off the game. And so to me, it don't make no sense. So I decide use my discretion, I take my risk, because the thing is that the team travel for that distance, we both teams travel to play the game.
Not play the game is like punishing the players.
So that is why I find that strange and so on, that they did not play on Sunday. It had nothing to do with cricket and so on in terms of what happened on Sunday. I just think that maybe the referee, whoever the referee and so on, use the discretion to decide to call up the game and decide to put the game into dispute, and that's what happened. That passed, but we hope that never happen again. And John, the good news I'm hearing that I'm not sure that I hear Eddie talking about friendly match next week up in the facility and one in the Windsor Park Stadium. But we got some news today saying that the lights will be put at the Windsor Park Stadium, so maybe the project can maybe start on Friday or so on, and you can never tell what can happen because the lights have to be in the stadium before September. It was set today clearly by the Prime Minister. So I know for a fact that when work starts at Windsor Park, in terms of the lighting, nothing should hamper that. See, when the lights is up and everything will happen after, John.
Yes, Delvin. We heard the Prime Minister.
Yes, we heard
actually saw people doing some surveys on the playing field, getting some work done subsequent to the signing of the contract. So work, I can say, based on what I saw, maybe not the physical digging, but preliminary works have started.
Yes.
I've seen it with my own two eyes, and the person that
I was in the stadium. I passed through the stadium as well today, I'm not
afraid of asking questions.
Keep my eye on certain things. Yeah.
I ask questions.
But in the good heart, Fury, I do not want that to dampen the flair and the atmosphere to which we are going to have in the stadium. With the good hearts of let's not, that is the views of Eddie Lawrence, with the good hearts of the ruling party, and knowing Mr. Oscar John and even the parliament, the Honorable Greta Roberts, a sports enthusiast, and the Prime Minister, they will not allow the football not to be played, man. We will see football play in the stadium, and I'm happy when the lights are on. We will see more games in the stadium. So, Delvin, you will not be crying anymore. You will be seeing games coming as soon as the lights are up.
What I always looking forward to was the lights there, and I've been campaigning full time.
Let's not dampen the spirit. We know we are getting set for the 8th in Stock Farm. We're getting set as we speak. Things are happening in Stock Farm, getting the locker rooms in shape, getting things in shape. In the Windsor Park, we are getting things ready, and we're just asking the fans, asking Dominica to come down in droves. Let us let us rally for our boys. And my friend, this teamer from Middle, if you are hearing me, bring the trumpet. We are waiting for it. And bring the trumpet. Come with the horns. Come with the bandanas. Let us show our sons that, hey, we stand with you all. And that's where we are. We are a nation resilient and we stand solid. Win, lose or draw, we DA to the bone.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Abby, for the hype. We're going to take some word from our sponsors and then we will be right back.
At Rudolph Thomas, builders get both benefits and rewards. When building and renovating, your dollar has more power. Rudolph Thomas is fully stocked, supplying all of your complete hardware needs. The best selection of your plumbing and fittings for every purpose. Plywood, cement, steel, beautiful bathroom fixtures, solid eye-catching wood, roofing material, nuts and bolts, and a breathtaking selection of panels, windows, and doors to suit your absolute delight and design. Get tiles in all styles, wire mesh, fencing wire, from floor to ceiling supplies at super excellent discount prices. Time to remodel your kitchen? Rudolph Thomas now has in stock toaster ovens, electrical kettles, solid acrylic countertops, microwaves, irons, and other top brand appliances. Get your deals and volume purchases. Free island-wide delivery in the north. Let it happening with your money. Enjoy the melody of great bargains. Only at Rudolph Thomas, 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth. From foundation to roof, Rudolph Thomas provides the proof.
From foundation to roof, Rudolph Thomas provides the proof. And I just want to let you know that for those of us who are looking on the Facebook Live, that today's haircut again was being made possible by the Looks Barbershop. And if you want to get your best looking haircut, you can always go down to 16 King George V Street. That's right next to Del Nargis, where upstairs and you can get your nice haircuts. Downstairs, if you're wondering what place it is, downstairs is the Salaba restaurant or bar or snack it or whichever one they call it, or diner. Upstairs is the Looks Barbershop. Get there and get your nice haircuts from Dunan, Ishmael, and the guys down there at the Looks Barbershop. But Evie, any final words as we bring the discussion down on the football? Because I want to discuss the ongoing Elias GP basketball competition knockout cup that is being hosted by the ABA. Any final comments, Evie? Your mic is muted. If you're talking and you're not hearing, your mic is muted.
Where we stand, I just want to encourage the patrons and the fans on the 8th day of May, as we rightly said, to be at the Stock Farm Technical Center from 7 p.m. and witness a remarkable display of talents. And on the 11th of May, which is Mother's Day, celebrate mothers by coming to the stadium at 4 p.m. again to witness talent, class, and precision as we celebrate our young men versus Barbados in 2 international friendlies. So we solicit your very support, you, the fans and supporters of Dominica, the corporate persons that want to come on board. Please meet with us at the DFA. Let us find ways and means to really help shape and build a product of lasting legacy and memories for our people.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
You are welcome, sir. And always feel free to call on this number for relevant football messages.
All right, then. Thank you very much. That was, ladies and gentlemen,
welcome,
was Mr. Abby Lawrence, the Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Football Association, touching base on what's going on in football here in Dominica. We have ongoing the Division 1 Men's League, the Under-15 Boys League, and the Premier Division. He brought some light to us, and we've seen what's happening. Yeah, but earlier on we talked about disrespect to the sport, and I wish, Delvin, if I could share with you the link the Zoom link so you could engage me and save the phone call. But we have the ongoing Elias Dupe Knockout Cup, which serves almost as a preseason tournament to usher in the DABA basketball season annually. Now, last year we lost one of our key players or key participants. When I said player, I don't mean athlete. I'm talking about key stakeholder, player, coach, umpire, referee, and in Elias Dupe. And we had the ongoing knockout cup which ushers in the league, and it was named after Elias Dupe. And this week we saw the opening, and I was pretty disturbed by what I saw, the lack of respect for the sport. The DABA would have had a meeting with the stakeholders almost maybe at least a month before the start of the competition. As a matter of fact, the school did the secondary. No, it's not the secondary schools. It is the National Basketball League, usually opens immediately following the carnival. And they met with the stakeholders, the teams that is, and they decided to start the league after the Easter. And so since the close of the season, we always know that the National Basketball League opens in February after Carnival. This time it was the 3rd and 4th of March, and so we were expecting the National League to start subsequent to the Carnival early March. Met, put it for past mid-April. People knew it was coming up. People should have put things in place for it to happen. And then we have a league set up. And so many teams opting to just casually forfeit a match. As ridiculous as the players are in the vicinity of the games and refusing to go and play a game and just agree, well, it's okay to forfeit a basketball match. That for me is utter disrespect to the game. And more so, we have opted to put the gentleman's name to the knockout cup and call it the Elias Dupe Knockout Cup. And you'd want to think that it is happening on the anniversary of his death. And people, it's a memorial cup. And team just opting to just not play. I think we have to show a level of respect to the sport. There are some people, there's one individual I know who had 4 prior engagements to coincide with a game that was supposed to be played. An international meeting, regional engagement, continental engagement, a local engagement, and then the basketball. 4. And that individual would have gone to the game and get there recognizing the implications of what is happening, and we would just not show up for a game and think like it's okay. So I want to recommend to the DABA that no team should be, as a matter of fact, there should be a separate registration. It's just a recommendation, thinking out loud, to participate in the Elias Dupe Knockout Cup. Do not, I'm not recommending to take out the Knockout Cup or take out his name to it. But teams participating in it, let them pay for individual registration for that particular tournament. And now that they've participated in it or they've paid to it, then it probably take greater ownership. It should not think, well, like, okay, if I play and I lose, then I can do play. It's the same thing. That for me is gross disrespect to the sport, And for me, it brought the game into disrepute. But nonetheless, I want to commend the teams that came out and played so far. And on Wednesday, we're going to the second week of the competition, and we will be having the Eagles, that's Pebush Eagles, versus West Coast Ballers, Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then game 2 on Wednesday is the Police Sports Club going up versus Falcons. That is at 9 p.m. Then on Thursday, we will have the games on SC Dominators versus BAA Sharks. Although that game is a 8 p.m. game, well, yeah, that is one game on Thursday night. So it's 8 p.m. That is going to be a real good game. So I want to say to our patrons, the patrons of the sport, come out on Thursday night to be part of that. That will be a nice game. I should be there. I'm looking forward to that game. Then on Friday night, just one game, and that will be between the Falcons 2 and Detroit Blazers 1. All right, these are the games that will be on this weekend in the quarterfinals of the competition, and then the qualifiers will move on to Saturday, I guess Saturday and Sunday to play the semifinals and then the finals. So Saturday night should have 2 games in the semifinals, and then Sunday we cap things up with the finals. So good luck to the teams, and we wish them well. Also want to inform the listeners that there'll be a face-to-face meeting with the DAB executive on Tuesday, May 6th. That a call was made by some of the officials, some of the well-wishers for the sport, asking for a meeting at 5 p.m. at the DOC office in Bafa State. And so we are expecting that meeting. So I want to go, and I wish all clubs would go there and represent as we prepare for the start of the National Basketball League. Now, I can also say in basketball, the secondary schools basketball competition is quickly drawing to an end. The qualifiers for the playoffs, and to give an idea to the public on basketball, 8 teams participated in the secondary schools basketball boys competition. The Portsmouth Secondary School, Pierre Charles Secondary School, Dominica Grammar School, the Northeast Comprehensive School, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, the St. Mary's Academy, Dominica State College, and the Academic School of Learning. And in the girls' competition, Convent High School, Portsmouth Secondary School, Pierre Charles Secondary School, Northeast Comprehensive School, and the Dominica State College, 5 girls teams. So the competition was run on a round-robin basis, with the winner of the round-robin competition advancing to the final. And in the girls division, the Convent High School, they finished the competition at the top of the table with 7 points, and they have qualified for the finals. In second place was the Northeast Comprehensive School, and the Portsmouth Secondary School, having, by virtue of defeating the Dominica State College and tied on the same number of points, the Portsmouth Secondary School, they advanced to the playoff. And I'm talking about the girls' competition. On Tuesday, the 6th of May, that is Tuesday coming, that game will take place between the Northeast Comprehensive School and the Portsmouth Secondary School. That is the girls' playoff. Now, in the boys, the Dominica State College topped the round robin with some 13 points, and they qualified for the final. So the Dominica State College, once again, is in the final of the schools basketball boys competition, the U20 boys competition. But the two other qualifiers are the Northeast Comprehensive School. So Northeast Comprehensive School will feature in the semi-final in both playoffs, of the secondary schools under 20 basketball championship. And the third place is none other than Mishak Dubuli and the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. Those teams, the Northeast Comprehensive School and the ITSS, they will also feature in the playoff match on Tuesday. That's next Tuesday. And that game will take place at the Massac Indoor Facility. Both games will take place at the Massac Indoor Facility. At 2 p.m., then the girls' playoff, and then at 3:30, the boys' playoff match. So we will see them there, and then the winners will take on the Convent High School in the girls and the Dominica State College in the boys. That game was scheduled for Thursday, the 8th of March, but as you heard Mr. Nabik, Abby Lawrence, Dominica will be playing an international friendly in football versus Barbados national football team. And so that game will be rescheduled. We will communicate to our listeners via the various media the actual date for that rescheduling. But certainly we will not be having the finals and the international friendly on the same day. So let's look out for some more action as the curtains are being brought down on the secondary schools basketball competition. To our many listeners that were out there, let me just go over before I leave. Commend the Alec Athenas and the Windwards Infernos in the West Indies Breakout League. They are on display tonight. Let me see if I can get the time of that game, but they are on tonight certainly in that competition. Probably the game has started, but you can always tune in to the West Indies Breakout League. There is a YouTube. There is a YouTube link that you can always look at. You can always type Live Barbados versus Windward Islands West Indies Breakout League, and you should be able to get through to that match to support the likes of Alec Athenas. In his first match against the team from Guyana, Athenas, who is the captain of the Windward Infernos, he scored 92 or 94 in that match. Very brilliant knock there from Alec Athenas. Continue doing your Dugasa. Blaze like you know how to blaze, perform like you know how to perform, and make us continue making Dominica proud. So to our listeners, to our callers, I want to say to you, it was a pleasure engaging you this evening, and to you, Mr. Ebby Lawrence, it was a pleasure having you as you brought us up to speed as to what is happening with DFA and at the DFA competition in the under 15 First Division and Premier Division, or Division 1 and Premier Division. Thank you for bringing us up to speed, letting us know what's happening. Looking to engage you sometime soon. And on this note, I say with just 8 seconds remaining, 8 seconds to now 5 seconds to 8. A pleasant good evening to you. It was a pleasure having you as part of our audience. See you next Tuesday for the next episode of the Sports Connection. See you and goodbye.
Le pire c'est quand je revois le reflet de son image qui s'évapore, J'ai pu naviguer loin de son cœur. Je revois son visage et même son corps. Je n'aurais pas dû la faire souffrir. Et voilà qu'aujourd'hui je vis le pire. J'ai pu naviguer loin de son
c'est ça qui vient d'une bonne maîtresse. La gérer, c'est qu'à vous-même qui responsable. Vous-même qui responsable. Oh, yon femme c'est ça qui vient d'une foile, te font pas chat. C'est qu'à vous-même qui responsable. Vous-même qui responsable. Au lieu d'apprécier, ou plutôt faire comme ça paraît garder. Oh.